doing business. When he had made a whip of cords, he drove them all out of the temple with the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the chargers' money and overturned the tables. And he said to those who sold doves, "Take these things away. Do not make my father's house a house of merchandise." All right, so it's very similar.
Yeah, it's very similar. So to resolve that issue, because you have many different translations, and here's the most important part: you have a word-for-word translation and a thought-for-thought translation.
Thought for thought.
Yeah, so some Bible translations are what you call thought for thought, meaning this is what we think they meant when they wrote it. And then you have a word for word where they'll take this word and let's say if it's house in Greek or Hebrew, they make sure it's house in English.
How do we know which ones they went thought for thought and which ones they went?
It'll tell you. You could do a list. Like NIV is, I believe NIV might be word for word. So you could do a list of what's word for word and what's thought for thought. But now let's say if you're caught up at all.
Steve Jobs would not like how they did the Bible, bro. He believed in one button, one click, you know?
Yeah, Steve Jobs probably don't like what they did with the iPhone then, because he believed in one button, one.
Yeah, no, they fucked up the iPhone. You're right, 100%. Yeah. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I would always suggest everybody do is just go to the Hebrew or Greek that it was written in and see what that is. That's how you resolve if you're stuck at a point where you don't know if this translation is right or if that translation is right. Just go to the original language and then look what that word means in the original language. That's how you resolve that.
So if let's look at this from the perspective of you who views yourself as the true Israelite.
Right.
And you keep on obviously talking and mentioning like Hebrew in this language because it's an ancient language that existed. Hebrew was brought back. This is actually like
it died.
It died. Right. This is actually like an amazing recent history kind of thing that this was pulled off. But like in the early 1900s, I want to say, I guess like Jewish Zionists looking to go to the Holy Land decided to start bringing back Hebrew to speak among themselves, and they had to like it had limited words, like a limited number of words, so they even had to add words to it or whatever.
Yeah, they got a lot of Russian and German words too in there.
But it had it had been dead for a while. But you view Hebrew as your native language, like the one that your people were speaking. I don't want to say how many.
Yeah, we would say ancient Hebrew. So like the Hebrew that we would say was our original language wouldn't be what modern Hebrew is. Modern Hebrew has E's, U's, the V. I think it's the E, the U, the V, the O wouldn't be in ancient Hebrew because old languages didn't really have a lot of vowels. So ancient Hebrew didn't really have vowels. It was mainly just sound. And so it would be like Abba, Gada, Ha. It would be like that. So like Yahweh Shai would be Christ's name. Yahweh would be the Lord's name.
But that has vowels in it. Yeah.
The I is just for you to make the sound. The A is just for you to make the sound.
Oh, it's not written.
Right. That like the Tetragrammaton, the YHWH, we pronounce that Yahweh. So you could write it based on just sound. Even because like spelling, when you think about words, you take knife. It's not spelled the way you would say it.
Knife. Yeah.
Right. School. The letter C is interchangeable. So language doesn't necessarily have rules, but when you write it down, you're writing it down. When I say don't have rules, not that it doesn't have definitions, consonants, vowels, and stuff like that. But when I'm talking about when you're speaking, maybe that's a better way to say it. When you're speaking it, it doesn't have the same limits as when you're writing it. Right. So when it comes to Hebrew, you don't have to put all those vowels in there to make the word. So you're right when you say Hebrew is dead. I think before the Jewish man decided to do what he did, the Rosetta Stone was also an earmark because that's when they had the stone tablet. I think that had Hebrew, Greek, and Egyptian writing because they was even able to bring back some Egyptian writing because Egyptian writing was another language that died.
Like hieroglyphics?
Mm-hmm. They was able to translate some of the, like they call it metal netter. So even some of that wasn't all the way translated, but they was able to translate some when the Rosetta Stone was discovered. So the Hebrew language did die for a while, and it was resurrected, but I think it began being resurrected before the 1900s. Now, what Jewish people did was incorporate some of their Russian and German and Polish words into the Hebrew. That's where you might hear the term Yiddish. So you can have modern Hebrew is slightly different from Yiddish, but modern Hebrew and ancient Hebrew differ in the vowel points. and stuff like that.
Do you speak ancient Hebrew?
Some. I'm not an
Can you
expert.
read it?
Yeah, well, when we read it, it's just reading the Torah. So I can read the Torah. I haven't read it in a while, but I can read the Torah and I can speak some Hebrew.
So when you, to go back to your original point where you brought this up, where you were talking about if you really want to look at it, you got to go to the original text before it's even translated, where it's in ancient Hebrew. Do you guys have like some scholars who are fluent in it?
Yeah, we teach a Hebrew class. So the brother, Officer Hazahab, headed by General Kabbalah, you
guys got some gangster ass
names.
Yeah,
all those names are in ancient Hebrew. Like Tazaryach is an ancient Hebrew name.
That's a gangster ass name.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I like that I'm the only one with that name thus far.
Don't whip me.
I'm not going to whip you, man. But yeah, so we have a Hebrew class that we teach so that somebody, can actually learn. If they want to go into the ancient Hebrew, they can go into the ancient Hebrew.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so how does this, like, when you look up what you said society calls black Israelites, you call yourself Israelites, but like when you look that up, there's multiple different sectors of it. So there's some that are viewed as like guys who just, I guess, I'm talking about how the rest of society views it. Guys who just believe they're the original Israelite tribe, and that's that. And then there's other sectors that society decides to group as like a hate group, which I think includes yours.
That includes mine.
Right. So the other black Israelites, do you not have any association? Is it kind of like in the Christian church where you got Catholics and Baptists and
you can say a little bit, you can say a little bit like that. So like we always say that we're not affiliated with no group. Like ISUBK, my organization, we're not affiliated with no group. But do we know of those groups? Me personally, I interact with a lot of those groups. So we interact with them.
What do you mean interact with them?
Meaning like I've had conversations with them. I've invited them to things that we've done. Some of them I'm cordial with. Some of them I'm not cordial with. What separates us is we believe in teaching the whole truth of the Bible. They don't. So if you're not going to teach the truth of the Bible, like we're not supposed to be divided. We teach that we're not supposed to be divided. We've invited all of them to come and then let us just be united as one. They just choose to stay wherever it is that they're at.
Okay. Now, when you went and joined in 2010, is that right? It was because you had kind of started to study this and you found an interest in that.
Yeah, it was actually somebody from another group that told me about this group. I had not known about ISUBK. So when in November 29th is when I said I'm gonna be an Israelite, I'm gonna follow after Christ. And I was learning with these brothers from different cities and states. And I ended up asking one of the brothers, where was the truth at? Where can I go learn, like really learn? And he told me about ISUBK. That's how I got there.
Okay. And what do you like go knock on the door and say, I want to join? Or how?
No, they was doing a radio show. So Commander Jenny Hunter, who's the leader, that's my leader, he was doing a radio show online. And I went to their website. They had to contact us. And so I just contacted them, and because I'm in Jersey.
I'll bet that code was made by some white nerd in Silicon Valley. I'm just saying.
Man, we got to take advantage somehow.
Now you're taking advantage of our work.
Listen, y'all had a 400-year head start.
That's okay. All right.
Yeah, you can't
let that pass.
Yeah. So, so when I did that, I emailed them, and so they was teaching in Philadelphia. So I drove from Jersey to Philadelphia. First street speaking I ever saw, they had a white man kissing the boots.
Oh, he was kissing the boots.
Yeah, and I was hooked ever since.
You like the kissing the boot thing?
Okay, I don't like the kissing the boot thing, but I like what it does.
What does it do?
When people see it, and the reason, and just for the record, the reason why I say I don't like the kissing the boot thing because I just can't wait for the judgment of the place, so it's a little harsher. But
Vibe coders, ready to build more?
See, he laughs at it.
Yeah, but the reason I like what it does is because from a psychological position, Black people are used to being the ones kissing the boots. Black people are used to the ones being in the servitude position to master. And if we can compel somebody that's just listening, because we don't force them. This is a white person that is just listening to the crimes that they committed and as a gesture of being sorry, they do that. What that does to the black person, not with us, but that's without, it's like, damn, these must be some super Negroes to be able to get this white man to do it. And sometimes what we'll do, we'll have them kiss them. Hey, come on over here and get your boo kissed. And then give them some power, so that the impact that it has psychologically is why I like it.
So you think, though, because like some of those videos to me, not the Black Israelites, I don't know if I've ever seen those, but like you'll see these videos of like, I guess like more woke videos where some like old white lady will just walk up to a black person and be like, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry,"
Right?
and it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? But this is kind of the same thing. It's like saying we don't like that in the past we felt forced to do this, or not even felt, like literally we're forced to do that sometimes. So now to make us feel better, eye for an eye, we're going to make them feel like at least they got to do that. I've never been a believer in one wrong making a right. Now, let me give an exception there. Like, I'm not a father, but I will be one day. And without going into details, I'm sure if certain things happen to my daughter, yeah.
Right.
You know,
I get exactly what you're saying.
Yes,
right.
There's laws that are not going to be followed. But when you're talking about like people who were, in this case, who were not involved
Directly
in that,
involved, right.
and making them have to like do that, it's psychologically to me kind of dumb.
But we're not, first of all, we're not getting even at all. There's nothing that we can get even by some white man or white woman getting on their knees kissing the boot. That does not make us even at all. It's not even a drop out of a bucket. The bucket didn't even tilt over for a drop. When you think about what black and Hispanics have been through, them getting on their knees means absolutely nothing. It's only the psychological effect that it has for other people. It don't. Again, that's what I'm saying. It don't mean nothing to me when they do it. I just know from a visual picture, the hosing, right? You know, when the civil rights, when they used to hose us. That's the memories that black people have. Black people have memories of getting hosed, getting dogs sicked on us, getting shot sitting in your car, Rodney King getting beat, and stuff like that.
Which was even way later.
Now, that's them making something happen. All we're doing is saying, if you're sorry, show that you're sorry. We're not making them doing anything. Like if that white guy says, as he's going to get on his knee, and he says, "No, I'm not doing that," we're not saying, "No, get on your knee and do it." We're not doing that. We're not walking up to him, "Hey, you white woman, get on your goddamn knee and do this right." We're not doing that.
Never? Not once?
Nah, not once. Not once. So it's not. We're not making anybody do it. They're, for the most part, we don't even, because we're speaking in a public place, everybody hears us. But we're not even speaking to white people when we're talking. We're mainly in black neighborhoods or a central location where blacks and other people are. Like sometimes we speak in Times Square, which of course is a smorgasbord of races. But we're going out there to speak to our people. Now, if a white person happens to hear it, comes up, they usually come and ask us a question about what this is. And then so we bring the history. Then when they say, "Well, that was messed up," and then we say, "Well, if you're sorry, do this," it's still not making them. Now, they may feel some compelled to do it based on hearing what we're saying, but we're not making them doing anything, and it don't make us even at all. There's nothing about that makes us even. We have not gotten any even leverage for what's happened to us in America.
But I understand like the passed down trauma and generational effects and stuff, and I think there's absolutely truth to that. I think that's been proven.
Right.
But do you think that there is, I don't want to say this, there is something wrong with people almost feeling compelled to suddenly feel like they were a part of something when in fact they've lived their whole life not being a part of that thing? And I'm talking about like the white people here. Like
Yeah,
those
white people, like, I remember